Welcome back to Midnight Signal AI. It's May 20th, 2026, and today's brief is dominated by platform moves. Google is pushing harder into assistants, video, and enterprise agents, while OpenAI rumors, Stability AI, and Alibaba all added fresh fuel to the model race. We'll start with Google I/O, then move through a new audio model, an OpenAI phone leak, and a serious China-side hardware and model push.
The common thread here is that AI is getting less like a single chatbot and more like a layer across products. That means the competition isn't just about model quality anymore, it's about where the model lives, what it can touch, and how cheaply it can be deployed.
Let's kick off with Business Today on Sundar Pichai's Google I/O announcements. The headline items are Ask YouTube and a voice-powered Docs Live, both framed as ways to make Google's core apps more conversational and more useful in the moment.
That's a smart move because the best AI product is often the one people don't have to think about. If Ask YouTube can reliably surface the right clip or answer, and Docs Live can feel natural instead of clunky, Google turns AI into a habit instead of a destination.
And the bigger strategic point is that Google is defending distribution. Search, YouTube, and Docs are already places people live all day. So adding AI there is much harder for rivals to dislodge than launching a standalone assistant. It also suggests Google wants the interface shift to happen on its terms, not through a third-party layer.
Exactly. The risk is that if these features feel even slightly unreliable, users notice immediately because they're embedded in workflows they already trust. But if they work, Google gets a lot of incremental engagement without having to teach people a new product.
Switching gears, Notebookcheck is reporting a leak around a ChatGPT-OpenAI phone with some very aggressive hardware specs. A 2-nanometer MediaTek SoC, LPDDR6 RAM, and UFS 5.0 storage. The report also mentions a release date leak, which is why this one is getting attention beyond the usual rumor cycle.
This is the kind of rumor that tells you where the market thinks the next battleground is. A phone isn't just a device, it's a distribution channel, sensor package, and permission layer all in one. But hardware leaks are easy to overread, so the real question is whether OpenAI would want the complexity of shipping a consumer handset at all.
Right, and the specs in the leak matter because they imply a premium device, not a gimmick. Still, even if the hardware is real, the harder part is making the assistant genuinely better than what people can already do with existing phones and apps. That's the bar now.
And if OpenAI does go down that road, it would be less about competing with the iPhone directly and more about creating a device that privileges AI interactions from the first unlock. That's a different thesis, but it's also a much riskier one.
On a related note, No Film School and Let's Data Science are both covering Google's Gemini Omni launch, described as a model for lifelike video creation and something that can create anything with video. The framing is ambitious, but the key takeaway is that Google is pushing deeper into generative video as a creative tool, not just a demo.
Video is where these companies have to prove they can do more than generate something flashy. Creators care about continuity, control, and editability. If Gemini Omni can actually help with those, it becomes useful. If not, it's just another impressive clip.
And that matters because video generation is no longer a side experiment. It's moving toward real workflows in marketing, pre-production, and social content. The company that nails controllability may matter more than the one that makes the most cinematic demo.
That's the right lens. The market is starting to reward utility over spectacle, and video is probably the toughest place to earn that trust.
Stability AI is next, and TechCrunch says it has released a new audio model that can create 6-minute songs. That's a notable jump in ambition for music generation, because longer-form output is where coherence, structure, and repetition start to matter a lot more.
Longer audio is a real milestone because it forces the model to maintain intent over time. A 10-second loop is one thing. A 6-minute song has to hold together like an actual composition. That's where users will find out whether the model is genuinely musical or just statistically convincing.
And for Stability AI, this is also about relevance. The company needs visible progress in areas where creators can quickly test output quality, and music is one of those places. If the model is good, it could become a practical tool for demos, ads, and prototyping.
The downside is obvious. Music raises some of the sharpest questions around training data, style copying, and rights. So any product win will probably be shadowed by a policy and licensing battle.
Now to the Qwen side of the race. QZ.com and DomainB.com are reporting that Alibaba unveiled the Zhenwu M890 AI chip alongside a Qwen 3.7 Max model. And South China Morning Post is framing this as part of Alibaba's effort to become China's AI factory.
This is important because it shows the AI race is still a systems race. Alibaba isn't just trying to ship a model, it's trying to control the stack underneath it. That can improve performance, but it also creates a lot of operational and geopolitical complexity.
And that complexity is the story. If you own the chip path and the model path, you can optimize for cost, latency, and deployment in ways that pure software players can't always match. But it also means every supply chain constraint becomes a product constraint.
Still, in a market as competitive as China's, that kind of integration can be a real advantage. It's less about one flashy launch and more about building a durable AI utility layer.
Back to Google for a broader platform shift. MLQ.ai, InfoWorld, the Mac Observer, and Dataconomy are all covering Gemini 3.5 Flash, with the consistent theme being speed, cost, and a move toward agentic workflows in enterprise. The reports also suggest Google is positioning it as a default model in more places.
That default model angle is huge. If a company can make the cheaper, faster model the path of least resistance, it shapes how builders design products. People optimize for what's easy to call repeatedly, especially when agents are chaining tasks together.
Exactly. Speed and cost can be more strategic than raw capability when the use case is orchestration. For enterprise teams, that can mean more automation, more background tasks, and less fear of burning through budget on every interaction.
The trade-off, of course, is whether the model stays good enough as usage scales. But Google seems to be betting that most day-to-day enterprise work values responsiveness and economics first.
And finally, another Google angle from the same I/O wave. MLQ.ai says Google unveiled Gemini 3.5 and a new Spark agent as it shifts search and apps into the AI agent era. Taken together with the Flash coverage, this looks like Google trying to define the whole stack, from consumer interfaces to enterprise automation.
That's the real headline underneath all of this. Google isn't just adding features, it's trying to make AI the routing layer for how people search, work, and create. If that sticks, it changes the shape of the product, not just the interface.
So that's the day. Google is aggressively embedding AI into YouTube, docs, video, search, and agents. Stability AI is pushing longer-form music generation. The OpenAI phone rumor keeps the hardware question alive. And Alibaba is pairing a new chip with a new model to tighten its stack. The pattern is clear. The next phase of AI competition is about integration, not just intelligence.
And the practical takeaway is that every one of these launches is trying to reduce friction somewhere, in creation, in search, in enterprise use, or in device experience. That's where the real adoption will come from, not from the headline alone.
That's the brief. We'll be back when the machines have more to say.